Welcome everybody to the Dallas Programmable Robotics Group for September 9th, 2025. Tonight we'll do our normal roundtable and see what anyone has to for updates on their robots. And after that, we'll open the floor to any questions that people may have. Just a reminder, if you don't want to be seen or heard, turn your microphone off and the camera off. Otherwise, we do record the meetings. So we'll kick it off with Mike. He's going to give us an update on his RoboColumbus robot.
Yeah. Well, I was so I got my fancy controller here for my remote control car, and I didn't code it, but I intercepted the information from all the sensors on here, the dials and the switches, to create a kill switch, because this thing has really good range, like hundreds of feet, and also a way to switch it in and out of computer control, so I can say, okay, I want to go back to manual control. I can say stop running, go back to manual control because you're about to run into the ocean or something, and drive it back to the base, so I don't have to pick up my car. So I got that code running, and I also I was hoping to be outside with my robot and some GPS, but I've been just working on it inside. So basically, the thing I have it doing inside is the final approach to the cone, where it goes to the cone, switches between different sensor modes, and then finally creeps up to it and kisses it and backs up. So then you can say, okay, here's a new region of interest, go to this new GPS point. And so I have that as a demo. It doesn't work that great. It only works when it's pointing straight at the cone. I have some issues with ROS coordinates right now, but I got it pointing straight at the cone.
So Mike, just to be careful about it. So you got forward-looking lidars, and so it tells you point at the cone. How do you? I mean, you think you've got the cone, or is your AI telling you have the cone, or what?
Oh,
I'm not quite.
Oh, the AI in the camera is visually detecting the cone.
Okay, so you know the cone, and your robot steers so that the cone is in front of you.
Right. And the robot can make minor corrections when I'm not using the ROS navigation code, like the final pull-in. But using the ROS navigation code, I got some coordinate issues going on, and it gets, well, I'm just sitting at bad data, so so it doesn't really know how to handle angles quite correctly or anything. So, but I think I understand what it probably is, and so I just need tomorrow or so to dig into it and say, okay, where did I mess up my coordinate frames?
Okay, so you're talking about the transition from ROS navigation to where the camera takes over. Is that right, area that you're working?
So right now I'm using the ROS navigation to get within a meter of the cone, and then I'm switching to a mode where I go to the cone relatively quickly, still using the camera, but using just because right now I'm in the mode where I'd have to ignore the what do you call it? The obstacles, like the navigation code, to try to avoid obstacles. So say, okay, I know where stuff is. I know there's no obstacles, and I'm just going to go straight to the cone because I'm a meter from it. And then when I get like a half a meter from it, then I switch over to my time of flight sensors, because I know my camera's going to crap out really soon. Yeah. And then those are really good and I can get real close to it and just touch it and back up.
Okay.
I'll probably have to be a little gentler than I am right now, but that's pretty good.
Okay, so you're using RTK too?
No. Oh, I'm not using anything right now.
No, I mean,
when I go outside, I will not be using RTK.
Okay, so be using just a normal GPS. I guess what I'm trying to get is, how do you know you're really a half a meter from the cone?
Oh, well, the camera tells me that.
So you
the
got
camera and the time of flight. Pardon?
Okay, the time of flight is giving you the distance,
well, the depth sensor in the Oakd Lite.
Okay, so you are using the depth camera. Okay, okay. I'm just trying to get.
Yeah. Depth and position. So the Oakd Lite camera gives me depth and position. Hello, Paul. Welcome.
Yeah.
I guess he's still trying to figure his house out. But yeah, so I'm going to point my computer camera to my field, and then I'll switch over to the ROS view, and so you should have access to both. So here's my field, and then let me go in here and share my screen. Where is it?
Mike, we're not seeing the robot. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's over in the right-hand corner over there.
Okay.
But I'm looking for my... Huh. Where is that?
Share the screen button?
No, no, I'm looking for my RViz2 screen. I can't remember which one it is. I'm going to see if it's this one. Nope, that's not it. Crap, it's on my computer. Share. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's not this one. Wow. I could find it, the other day. Oh, well, I guess it's just going to be just a visual show and tell. Okay, so there's the cone. Like, this is the robot, this black thing over here, and of course the cone is the cone. And then this is my kill switch here, and it's in kill mode right now. So if I say go, it's not going. What is it with demos these days?
I have no idea.
You know, it must be hard to be a salesman. I can't imagine. I can't imagine doing demos every day, and I just know that you're doomed all the time. So anyway.
Oh.
Maybe that forces you to get better at it, though.
Yeah, I guess so.
Usually they have a product that's a little more well developed than what we put out.
Not always.
That could be true.
Yeah, when I worked for
At least what I
Hitachi,
put out is
the
nowhere
VX
near
work
demo ready.
demos never worked.
Yeah.
And the guy would, well, he'd have like, I don't know, 10 different excuses that he'd kind of rotate through that, well, this is a new revision, and, I'm sure, I'm probably doing something wrong. Never worked.
What? Whoa, this is bizarre. Okay, so hopefully it'll be up and running in a second here. Huh. Okay. Shit. I mean, darn.
Dang it.
Yeah, something happened, and I'm gonna have to shut down and come back up. So if you can move on to someone else, I'll be back, or I'll still be here, but I'm gonna reset everything here.
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll hang on tight for your update.
Yeah, thanks.
Since Mike was the only one on the list so far tonight, I do have an update on my robot. It's about a sentence long. Just that I started looking at my old code and versus what I was trying to do to rebuild a new microcontroller to do everything in. I'm going to attempt to revive my old code, re-functioning the compass routine or the compass function to only look at it at the beginning or essentially when I'm stopped to try to correct the pose. And I'll see if that gives me any better luck. Unfortunately, I'm still a little more than a week away from being able to work on it more than that. So we'll stay tuned till after the 17th. And
Yep.
it should become almost, a full-time job after that.
Mhm. Well, that's cool.
So, I don't know if anyone else has something who joined while we were talking. With Mr. Steele joined, Ted joined, and Paul joined. I don't know if either of you guys have something tonight for reporting.
I do not.
I was all
Nope.
enthused until I heard the not.
I'm kind of curious, Doug, which RTK did you get?
Okay, yeah, I can do that, Pat. I'll take a second to go get the box. Okay,
Sure.
and we can do like a unboxing so you guys can see what you get.
Okay.
Okay.
Paul, are you
All right.
back from your walkabout?
No, that's not. That's on the 20th.
Can't hear
Oh,
him.
Paul.
Paul's muted.
Paul. Yeah, I was asking Paul.
Just arrived back this evening, Kareem. I just pulled into the driveway and ran into my office to join the call.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you. 2 months running around Colorado, Arizona, and Utah. It was pretty fun.
Was that the Midwest?
Well, that'd be the Southwest.
The Southwest, okay.
Yeah. But we did some awesome hikes. And I took a robot along and tried to get Wi-Fi from the ESP32 up to Ross working, and I'm not sure if it works or not. I got lots of errors, so nothing really to report on that front.
Okay.
Hey, Paul, you had sent out asking, for suggestions on
Yeah.
a robot builder's lunch. I think the places you've had in the past are all fine. I don't mind repeating. I don't know about other people, but you've had some good selections.
Well, thanks for that input, Doug. Kareem would like someplace further south and east. So, Kareem, this is your opportunity to chime in. And,
That's all right. I'm not going to force a bunch of people to come
well,
south.
I mean, there are other people that live other places than far north Dallas. So I thought, spread it around a bit and see if, explore some new places. If people know cool, fun places that serve beer and have a cool vibe, then hey,
Easy parking, easy parking.
what?
Yeah, and easy parking. Because there's cool places, you know, like places like down in Deep Ellum and stuff like that, but they're a little painful to park.
I think he put the southern limit at Northwest Highway.
You know, I thought about LBJ as a southern limit, and I thought, no, there's cool stuff down towards Northwest Highway.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
At the risk of sounding like an
Down
engineer, there are
Yeah.
tools that allow you to put in zip codes or extended zips and identify the centroid of that group of potential attendees in order to minimize total travel distance. I know that's an engineering approach, but that would give you a smaller area to choose from.
You should ask AI to do that for you.
That would force us to divulge our home locations.
Okay, well, don't do it on this show.
Yeah.
You can do it privately.
I don't know where most people live.
Well, you go by zips, and that gets you close enough for
I
purposes
don't know that.
of centroid.
Well,
You
I'm
know,
in
the
Northeast
outlier,
Dallas.
though.
I think
Well,
my
looks like my demo's up and running again.
all right.
Yeah, we wasted
Okay.
enough time for that. That's good.
Are you ready, Mike?
We'll find out. I think I also fixed the presentation.
I think I saw it move. No, I'm only kidding.
So I have the RViz, and you can see that the cone is straight in front of the robot. and I have my remote control. And so the demo is I press the switch and it moves.
Oh, yay.
If I
Yay.
release the switch, it stops. Then it continues.
I don't see a tennis ball.
That's a little yellow dot on top. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Imagine
Mike
that.
doesn't want a gold star. He just wants a point at the competition.
so
Nice.
3 points, right? Pre-scoring 3 points at the competition.
And a gold star.
Yeah.
Good job, Mike.
So
I've also been working on the using Foxglove and to try to figure out how I can use it, and instead of or in addition to using the RViz, because I can run the Foxglove on my PC without any interpreters or anything. And so I have it loaded on, and I have the Ross Bridge activated, and so I'm able to run Foxglove. Let me show it to you. Let me turn it on.
I want to look at Vizanti as well.
Put that in the chat, please.
Sure.
Yeah, so see if I can share this. Go back to here, share screen. Come on. Share screen, share Foxglove. There it is. Yeah. So this is a Foxglove, and so you can sort of see basically what this is, what it's showing here. And if I click on here, I can add like the maps and stuff, the cost maps, local cost maps, obstacle layer, and local cost map. So I can do basically what I can do on RAWs. I mean RViz 2, except my camera, my cone, I have it as a point message, and it doesn't seem to understand point messages. I'd have to give it a pose or something. But you can see here that I have the, and I can't make the robot show up, but I can see all the transforms of the robot for all the sensors. And on the right hand of the screen, the top is the, it's real small probably for you guys, but it's the image. So it shows you the cone right in front. And then you're able to put different topics in different windows. And I can also plot stuff on here. And if I do a ROS bag, I can, after the fact, do some plotting. In fact, you can do this whole thing on using a ROS bag. I can rerun the whole thing. Like during a competition, I could record it on ROS bag. And Paul's done a big show and tell on ROS bags, but they're pretty good for analyzing what happened. So this is Foxglove, and I have to go look at the other one that Kareem suggested.
Foxglove's definitely more mature.
And then there was one that was mentioned on the Discord just a couple of days ago, and you said you were interested in trying it, Mike. I don't remember its name though. I looked it up and it looked sort of interesting.
Yeah, it's extremely immature. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was ROS 2 Studio?
Yeah.
The Visual Studio.
It's an interesting thing from visual. I mean, from Visual Code, you can look at the topics and stuff, but it loses connection, and you have to shut down Visual Studio and bring it back up to get it running again. So it's a little, yeah, it has potential. Okay, and last week I was showing you can see my sensors in the front of my robot here, and you can see the ground, the yellow and the orange reflections there, or those are the time of flight sensors. And last week I was showing that they had speckles above the ground. So if I look at the angle here, yeah, so there's no speckles above them anymore. And what the speckles were, they were like false measurements, because I just took any value that the sensor gave me, a distance value, and shoved it up to ROS from my micro. But there was other information that I needed to use, which was status. So each pixel point has a status. And so now I said, oh, I'm only going to send the ones that are valid. Once I did that, all the speckles went away. So that was pretty good. So that was sort of the show and tell. Here is, I had speckles last week above the above those ground. So you can see here that they're right on the ground, which is where they should be. So it's basically saying, hey, that's time of flight sensing of the ground. And this is a really shiny floor. So I'm sure that a grassy field will have even a stronger and more consistent reflection. So,
have you tried them outside yet in bright sunlight and see how they did? Or
no. I pointed at the window with the sun real bright. But I bought these newer sensors that promise to have better ambient light or capability.
Yeah.
So
When I was
100K lux or something.
when I was working on the self-driving trucks, we had a library that had a ground elimination function, and given the known angle of the it was a LiDAR that had four beams stacked, 4 90-degree beams stacked one above the other. So not too dissimilar from your 8x8 array, except it was 4 by whatever, some number. But anyway, the point was that given an input which was derived from the calibration, you could compute where each beam would hit the ground, and then this function would look at the range for each scan of the LiDAR, and if it was big enough that it would represent ground, then it just deleted it. So that's a thought. You could modify the sensor processing to eliminate the ground.
Yeah. Well, what I did with Ross is I noticed that around those points right in front of the robot, there's no obstacles. So I set the obstacle layer to start at 50 centimeters or 50 millimeters, 5 centimeters above the ground. And basically anything below that is not considered an obstacle, because you can drive over it, so
Okay.
and so that's why I'm not getting any obstacles on those. Well, one thing I'm curious about is if I can use these as a cliff detector, like you're about to drive over something bad,
Yeah, a belly.
Yeah, or maybe it'll detect the water at the lake or something, but basically I think I could say, okay, if it's well below ground, then somehow turn on the obstacle detectors for that, just process the data and push the data points high so that the obstacle layer will detect that, because the obstacle layer has a minimum and a maximum, and so some of these data points here from the time of flight, you can see the ones that are really high, like the purple ones. They would not be detected as obstacles because they're more than a meter high, and the robot can always go under that. So it should be able to ignore like tree branches and stuff that it could really drive under.
Nice.
So I set it. So I set the obstacle max as 1 meter, and it could probably be shorter than that, probably half a meter, but 1 meter and 50 and 5 centimeters above the ground. So that's what I'm doing right now. And of course, when I go outside, everything is going to be like, oh, those are bad decisions.
Mike, are these are you still using Polulu modules?
Yes.
Or-
Yes.
Okay.
So
these are the newest Polulu modules.
Yeah,
that they have
the L8s.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the. So I turned off those sensors there, so you can see if I just turn on the front sensors. That's the 64 points from the front sensor right there. If I turn it off and turn on the left side sensor, you can see that it points in the left side and picks up, me and the wall and junk in the room.
Nice.
And if I turn off that one and turn on the right side sensor, then it'll show you the right side ones. I decided on this time, I decided to separate the sensors instead of trying to combine them into one big sensor. And that way I can control it better. So I do have 3 modules pointing in different directions, one straight on and the other one's at 45-degree angles, since they have a 45-degree field of view. And so you can sort of see that it has a continuous coverage with these ground reflections here.
Very nice. Very nice.
And then right here, that yellow ball there is the cone detector. So
Like
with the camera.
that may be this idea may be a little out there, but when I was learning how to do the training for the little camera detectors using machine learning, it became clear that machine learning training mechanisms are useful for a lot more than just video. That in fact you can use it to train and detect certain conditions that can be identified through a stream of data, like the streams of data you can get from your detectors. Now you could then identify a number of different circumstances, scenarios that you want to try and detect using these devices, and then do a machine learning training exercise in order to determine how to identify them. Now, you'd have to collect an awful lot of data sets under the various conditions you're trying to detect. But I just thought I'd throw that idea out there. It's a little far-fetched, but it might be a very intriguing way, given that you're beginning to accumulate sensor mechanisms with a lot of data that may be very difficult to process reliably in a traditional programming mechanism. Thoughts?
Yeah, these sensors are pretty impressive. They're pretty sparse, but they're relatively accurate. They work really good on a flat surface, but when anything's different, then it's not. But you can see these orange dots here below the yellow ball. And I think those are the base of the cone that it's detecting, because it's right where the cone is.
Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that idea out there from a machine learning perspective for handling this class of sensor data. Machine learning is currently very common for sensor processing, not just for camera.
Yeah. I'd have to learn how to do that. Luckily for me, I'm just using a off-the-shelf cone detector, so I never had to learn AI. I just had to figure out how to use it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a really nice project. One thing I want to do in ROS is learn how to use their behavioral tree for navigation. Because they use, instead of a state machine, they use behavioral trees. And you can do, I can do a lot of, right now, some state machines that run it through these different states to go from like GPS detection and go into that place and then go into cone detection. And I should be able to do that with the behavioral tree logic, but yeah.
They're functionally identical to state machines. They're just a different syntax for expressing them. They still end up becoming state machines.
It's basically a state machine, but it's a little more fluid than a state machine, I think. So, I got a lot to learn about it, but I was looking at it as, it's not quite a state machine, but it is a state machine, but it has a lot more flexibility without getting terribly complex with thousands of states. You just have dozens of different things just arranged in a way that's complicated.
Yeah, I'm just saying mathematically they evaluate down to state machines when they're running.
Oh, okay, I think that's it. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think the
I'm
behavioral
not
trees
saying that they do have value in
I think behavioral trees are supposed to be easier for a human mind to comprehend something relatively complicated and build something that doesn't have a lot of flaws, like missing states and bad state transitions and stuff. I think that's I think that's what they tout the behavioral trees for. But okay, I'm going to stop my sharing. So I've been working on lots of cool stuff, and I'm loving my sensors. So
Very cool, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for the update, Mike.
I keep
Hey, Mike,
I keep watching
Mike,
the price of those sensors. I'm really, really tempted to buy some.
Mike,
Yeah,
are you using the I2C interface on those?
yeah, I'm running at a megabit per second. Yeah,
Okay.
and but the I2, the cable is like a more than a foot long, and it was giving me troubles. It wasn't wasn't working well. And so I had to put an I2C buffer on there. So,
Are they all working on the same I2C bus?
yeah, but I was just having trouble with one working on that long of a cable.
Yeah,
I think the drivers on my micro just aren't very good I2C drivers and receivers. I think they're just sort of okay.
Okay.
And this had like more load, and I don't know what was going on, but it was like oscillating. I looked on a oscilloscope and I'd see sine waves. It's like, oh, something. It's not a very well designed driver. So when I went to the TI I2C buffers, they were nice sharp edges.
Okay.
And I could touch a probe on it, and I wouldn't screw it up.
Yeah.
So
okay.
But my other choice on this sensor was SPI, and I think it would have a similar issue. But I think the drivers are simpler for SPI, so it probably wouldn't have the problems that I2C has. So.
Well, yeah. The nice thing about the Polulu sensors is that they tend to be a lot easier to use than the actual manufacturer's module, because they put when you buy their modules, they're meant to be plugged into a daughter board, which has the stuff that the Polulu sensors already have on them. So, there is. Even if you can get those other sensors slightly cheaper, I would still recommend the Polulu modules, just because I think they would be easier to work in the end. I was just wondering if you'd ever mess around with the other interface. Yes.
Yeah.
Hi.
Like this particular. Like the earlier versions, like I used for the indoor competition, only had I2C.
Yeah.
And the L8 sensor, the latest one, also has SPI.
Yeah.
I'm going to share the Polulu website since you're bringing it up here. So let's see. And so this is the module here. Yeah. So the earlier version, this is a bigger module. It has some more flexibility. It has another chip, which is a level converter on here to help you convert, to different bus levels.
Yes.
But it has more pins, and it supports. So here's like its pin out here. So it has a couple extra pins like MISO and chip select, and a SPI I2C jumper pin so that you can switch it between SPI and I2C mode. So
yeah, I just wondered if you had ever tried the SPI mode. I was just wondering.
No, I was about to, but I decided I2C was working. I knew how to use it. I got it to work at a megabit per second. So I think SPI, if everything's working right, can work at 3 megabits per second.
No, I mean that's probably the way I would go too. I was just wondering. I was just wondering if you explored that.
Could you paste that link in the chat, Mike?
So this particular one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mike, did you need it to work that fast? 400 kHz isn't fast enough, or?
Yeah. Basically, trying to get. I'm trying to get 30 measurements per second.
Oh, okay. So a certain frame rate.
I think I had to go down to 10 measurements per second, which matches the LiDAR. And the I2C bus was consuming for 3 devices was consuming about 60 milliseconds of that. So it gave me some time to process the data and put on the serial port and stuff.
So Mike, how many frames per second did you ultimately end up with 3 sensors?
With 10, yeah.
10. So you're at 10.
Yeah.
Which is enough for outdoor,
Yeah.
especially.
Oh,
For
yeah.
a real
No,
fast indoor competition, it might be slow, but
Well, you could prioritize too, couldn't you? What
Yeah,
I'm trying to get, isn't there an enable pin on that module? Otherwise, what I'm trying to say is once you were aimed at something and you had a clear path to it, you could cut off your side sensors.
Yeah, but there's something else that I haven't optimized, and that is the default setting for the library that drives the sensors enables all the data it wants to send back, and I don't use a lot of it. So there is some defined statements that I could set that says don't collect this data, don't collect this data, don't collect this data, and I think I could get my bandwidth even lots, at least half.
Okay, are these things that you send to the register on the sensor module to turn off certain messages?
It's a defined statement. So when in the Arduino C code, if you set the define, it's supposed to, the library will read it and not send that information back.
Okay, so somehow it's because otherwise what I'm trying to say is usually a sensor like that will send everything and you can ignore parts of it. What you really want to do is say, don't send me that stuff. And
so the library can configure the sensors using the defined statement.
Okay, got it. That's cool. Yeah.
So I probably should turn those off just to make my life a little easier. But
Oh, that sounds cool. And it looks like it works really nice. And are you actually getting the, 4 meters? Are you actually getting the 4 meters? It looked like you were.
I'm getting 4 meters, but it says when it's the ambience high, I might be getting 1.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Right.
So what happens
in a dark environment? It can do 4, it says, but when you have I don't know how many photons, whatever, but it says in an outdoor really bright you can get maybe a meter, but probably more like 7.75 meters.
Okay.
That's why I don't really count on them until I get a half a meter to the cone.
What happens is when the range is degraded, what happens to the signal you get back? Does it just simply say it's 0.75? Or let's say you had an object at 2 meters. All right, but your sensor is in bright light, so you don't really see the 2 meters. What does the sensor report?
I'm not sure, but it does have these statuses. It says, this is a good data point. And also it says, this is sort of an okay data point, but it might be a little messed up.
So you might just monitor the status. I got that. Okay, that's cool.
Right. But right now I'm just saying, give me the absolutely good ones, in your opinion. So I don't have to process the data myself. Because I can look at the ambient level, the light level for each pixel, and process it and says, I just want the ones that have good reflectivity on a first pixel basis. But I'm just letting the code do that and say, just give me the one that with a status of 5. 5 means as good as it can get. So
yeah. So indoors, you probably have the best reflectivity that you're going to get because you have smooth surfaces. And I'd be kind of curious what it does with grass or
right. Well,
weeds.
I got to take it outside, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real nice thing about this though is that if you come up to something that's not dense, like a leafless bush. Okay, so all you got is stems. It probably in that array is going to pick it that you got something out there.
It'll probably be speckly. Yeah.
Yeah.
like right now, it doesn't really see table legs inside.
Really?
The LiDAR sees them really nice, but this thing doesn't. I mean, it's just not big enough because little teeny table leg, and it's like, oh, I can see it on the LiDAR, but I don't see it on this, and it's not big and flat.
Or if you looked at the orientation of the straw and those bales that they had lined up, it probably looked like a bunch of hollow tubes, so it's like light would just pass right through it,
So I got to take it outside and which will break everything, and have to go figure out how to use what I got. Yeah.
Mike, are they addressable? Can you change
What's
the
that?
I2C? Can you change the I2C address on them?
You can, using a software protocol. So the way you do it is you reset the chips, and then they all go to the same address. And then there's a pin on each chip that says disable the I2C. So you enable the I2C on one and set the address, enable the I2C on another one, set its address, and the other one set its address. And now you have all of my three of them on a different address.
Okay, I was wondering if it was like the other VL53 sensors.
Right. But the quote bad thing about these sensors is they don't have a reset pin that'll put it in that mode. You have to cycle power to get it in that mode. And so I needed a regulator to power these three sensors because it's too much load on the regulated voltage from the microcontroller. And so I have a regulator with an enable pin. So I just cycle the power and that resets that's part of my bring up process, is cycle the power and then set the three addresses, and then everything's good.
Okay, so you bring them up one at a time, and that's how you do it.
Yeah. But you have to cycle the power to get there. But like I said,
do you use three different regulators for all three of your sensors?
Oh no, I just power them all on and off and on at the same time, and that resets all three of them to the default address. Then I use
the I2C enable as your to bring them up one at a time.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I know it's probably because of the chip processing, but sure would be nice if they would all have a few bytes to allow you to retain addresses that you've set. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little EEPROM maybe.
Yeah, something. But like I say, it probably wasn't compatible with the way they were built.
Like every other I2C device out there with 3 address jumpers that you can put a solder bridge on and have it come up with a unique address.
That's probably a good idea too.
That helps, but you run out of addresses real soon. So yeah.
But
well, 3 address jumpers, you got a good range there.
Yeah. That's true. If we use all 3, that's quite a bit.
It gives you 8 possibilities. So
I figured when I'm done, I'm going to have 3 in the back of my car. Maybe I'll just have 1, but I'm thinking 3 again. So I'll have 6 of these sensor modules, so that so I can see backwards too. But I only have 1 extra one, so I have to go buy 2 more to do that. So we'll see.
Yeah, they have gone up in price too.
Yeah, they have.
Like $18 now or something.
No, like $29 or something like that.
Oh, they are. Wow.
Yeah, I'll see what.
They used to be 20 or something, and now they're
Chinese website has them for $22.79 Canadian.
What's shipping?
That was choice, free shipping.
Oh, that was choice. Okay.
That's a good price. Yeah.
I'll
No, we won't send you some.
Hopefully you made
Oh,
use of
yeah.
Labor Day sale there, Mike, you know, at Polulu.
We're gonna need to start using our Canadian friends as arbitrage.
No, because
How much
they're
trouble that's creating for people who ship from Canada into the US and they have to pre-compute and prepay the tariffs. It's outrageous.
yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
I posted the link to that one I had. It may come up with the US price for you guys.
Probably
Yeah.
will.
Yeah, but I saw an article where people were getting, one of the things you definitely don't want to do is have something shipped over from overseas that's using UPS or one of those carriers,
Oh God,
because they have a handling fee. So I saw one where the guy bought $8.71. Well, the tariff was $8.71. So, figure he bought something that was $20. The handling fee was $657.
Oh, shit.
You can imagine how you would feel, this package comes in and, what you thought was going to be $28 is all of a sudden 600 and something bucks. So
I had something like that. I had shipped in Canada Post. I get a little card in the mail saying, "Hey, I have to go in to pick it up." Well, I show up there and I need to pay the tax on $210.
yeah,
And the cost of the item was, and it was there, but you could barely see the decimal point. It was $2.10.
yeah,
And I told them, keep it.
yeah.
You don't want to see it's a decimal point. They said, there's nothing we can do now. It's been assigned by customs. I said, keep it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, now what's happening on the Chinese side of the company, that is they're saying that if you do that, Pat, that, you're going to get like blackballed from their side or something like that, because apparently they get stuck with it. I'm not sure how it works, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. So I paid my bill to the Chinese company, essentially.
Yeah.
It just gets, the lady at Canada Post says, and they just claim it as not picked up.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I don't know where it ends up after that.
Yeah, probably in a big box somewhere.
Probably in the dump.
By the way, people who have I2C address issues or what have you, there are multiplexers out there that you can switch so that you could have up to 16 that all have the same address and be able to switch from one to the other.
Select them.
I was thinking of trying one, but I had this buffer, so. Oh yeah, but yeah.
Hey, David, that's a DF Robot module, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Can you put the link into the chat
I
so
don't have
everybody?
a clue about what it is. That's one of the things that's sitting in my inbox
Pile of modules.
pile of modules, right?
Yeah.
Get them from Adafruit too.
Labeled I-squared multiplexers.
I bought several of those just in case I need them. They're in my box already, just in case.
I use those on my wooden monster.
Okay,
Not the DF Robot ones, but another one.
they're very useful.
Yeah. I use them on the VL53L1X or whatever it is. The same address, and I just decided to use one of those. I was having trouble and not understanding how to readdress them at the time, so I just used the multiplexer.
Yeah, the original STI app was to use something like that. Otherwise, if you had multiple sensors, they said to use a multiplexer. But that was way back when, So anyway,
I'm still really surprised they don't just add 3 pins so you can have an addressing on them.
I guess it's 3 more pins.
It's
I don't know.
It's
I
a
guess
really small module. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a custom
The
module.
module costs $40, So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Next up, sorry, Mike, are you done?
I bought some polycarbonate to put in on the sensor modules to protect them from the elements. I haven't tried it yet, but it's supposed to be very transparent, and the sensor says it's a good material to use. So if it's really close to the sensor, so I designed my module carriers to have it like almost touching the module when I put the polycarbonate flat on the surface of my carrier, my holder.
You,
My
also,
Huh?
you might also look at STI. I think they might sell those, you know, little module lenses that you can put on.
Yeah.
You might check it out. I'm not sure where I
Okay.
saw that, but there's somebody who makes those.
I've seen them, but I've never found them for sale.
Oh,
I
okay.
never found where I could buy them. And I looked a little bit, but
And it could be.
I'm sure they're somewhere. I just can't find them.
Yeah,
Probably just don't know the magic word to use or something.
right.
I thought Scott had some that had those on it, didn't he? Didn't he show us that one meeting?
And he doesn't, as far as I know, he's not using this type of sensor. He's not using an array.
Yeah, but I thought they were using it like in an elevator, actually.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
But a company like Otis can get, they got
Anything they want.
resources that you and I don't have.
Yeah.
Mike could go say, "Hey guy, I want some of these," and the guy said, "Okay, how many thousand do you want?" They're only 10 cents a piece, but you have to have a minimum order of 1,000. I mean, something like that. Which it's not making very practical. But
so are those actually? They're like bandpass filters for a certain wavelength of IR or something. It's not just tinted.
I'm a little curious. I was going to ask Mike this question too, or a variation of it was, how thick was the polycarbonate that he get, and was polycarbonate a recommended lens material? Because they do cut off IR for sure.
Yeah. Well, they did mention polycarbonate was a good material.
Okay.
And I got the thinnest I could get, like a 32nd of an inch.
Well, that's the best you could do. Yeah. In fact, I'm surprised you were able to get it that thin. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen
Saran wrap on it.
Taken one apart, like the infrared remote receiver on a television. It has a little piece of, it's almost like a purplish colored film that is in front of the receiver. Did you ever see those?
I haven't.
And those are, that's meant to filter out everything.
I've seen
Yeah. Infrared. So, and they tend to work pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I guess, Mike will find that out pretty quick when he puts it in front of the lens. It'll either work or it'll just slowly be completely blind.
Right. So, yeah, I was gonna I haven't put the sheet in front of him yet. So before I cut it and try to install it.
Yeah.
I'll have to fit it with
that'd probably be worth it before you invested too much time in cutting little blanks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise it's back to the little white stick, the probing out there.
Okay, is anybody interested in seeing this unboxing of this DF Robot? Pat, I think you can pin me so everybody sees me big.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, and before let me do this. I'll put the link in the chat so that anybody who wants to go see the product page, they can go to it. Where is the chat? There it is.
So is this a base rover approach or just the rover?
No, give me a second. Okay, so this is the link, so you can go to it. It's about $163 before shipping. Well, it ships for free. Okay, and so this is what it looks. This is what it looks like when you get it. Okay, I've got a place.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so it's, it's a nice little box. Not too, for $163, you get a nice little box. You open it up. It's even got a nice little cover of plastic here. And quick start, which is not very useful. I mean, not something I would. Okay. Then you have two modules. Get them out here.
Doug, if that works out, you may have the record for the cheapest GPS base
Well,
rover.
there's the thing you have to realize, this is using LoRa or LoRa or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's only line of sight. So anyway, you get two modules.
Yep.
Let me see if I can get a light going. Well, anyway. Okay, one of those modules is the base station, and the other module is the RTK module. Okay, so on the base station, you have two antenna ports. One is for the radio, and one is for the GPS
Antenna.
Okay, yeah, and on the other side. Need some light. See this thing. Oh, that didn't work. What's about this thing? Probably not even plugged in. Let me see here. Oh, it is plugged in. That helps. Okay, so here you have three. One is a Type C, so Type C USB. So that's 5 volts. The middle one is just a power LED to tell you you got it powered up. And then you have I'm not sure what kind of connector that is. It's a little green connector, and but there's actually pins, so it's not there's no screws involved. You actually have to plug into it. I'm hoping there's one that's similar. Hope there's one in here somewhere. So, okay, yeah. It comes with a little. So this is what that connector looks like.
Oh, and that has screw terminals on it, yeah.
And that has screw terminals on it. All right,
Yeah.
so, and it also looks like you get you can also get another cable, which is going to have, that looks like it's either 2 millimeters or 2.54 millimeter JST. So it's either a PH or an XH connector. You're going to go into DuPonts. Now this is kind of nice. They do actually have little shrink-on tubing labels on the wire. So that's a step up from what you usually get.
You figure it out.
Yeah, they do something like, well, okay, this is red, this is green, this is black, something like, power is black and red is ground, and, a few other things, which you don't ever actually believe, but, because that sounds weird, but, you have to find out what it is. But anyway, this is, your basic 4-wire, either UART or I2C connector. So it has the option of either using I2C or other or UART. In actuality, I think I've used all the UARTs. I might have one left, but if I have used all the UARTs, I'll probably go I2C with this one. If I use it. Okay, so that's that connector. So that's pretty much everything for the base station. I picked up a couple of, this does not come with it, but if you look at their pictures, they're recommending you use one. This is just 2 small aluminum discs, which cost them, about $7. You get 2 for $7 off of eBay. I mean, off of Amazon. If you get the right guy, you can pay more. It comes with the two GPS antennas. So this is what a GPS antenna looks like. Yeah. So the GPS antenna is just typical hockey putt, but it does say in the instructions that it does take also sensitive to the L6 band. So, it's got all the bands. I haven't checked to see. Doesn't feel like there's a magnet on it. It's just using 3M tape. So if you had one of these discs, you just 3M tape it on top. And I'm going to 3D print a little connector here to go to my interface that I'm using to my tripod. So it'll have a quarter inch screw on it, and it'll be a little plate that, and I'm just gonna epoxy it or glue it to the back, or probably double-sided tape because I'm lazy. So that's how I'm going to have the base station. They recommend that it be at least six feet in the air. So I have a tripod. I'm just gonna. It won't be quite 6 feet. It'll probably be 5.5 feet. I think when it's extended to the max. So that's how I plan to set that up.
Power in, is it? Do they say what it is?
Yeah, 5 to 10 volts. So
okay.
My intent, since this is going to be out in the middle of a field somewhere, will be a 2S battery.
Yeah.
I just took a 2S battery to it. That'll be, I might also put a low battery alarm on it just to make sure that it, if it gets below 6 volts, it'll cut itself off. Let's see. Okay, we hadn't actually talked about the have we talked, which module did we talk about? Okay, we talked about the base station. So here's the RT. This is a rover module. I can't flip it. I don't know if you guys are seeing it where you can read it or not. Mm-hmm. Again, it has the LoRa and the GNSS antenna ports, and those antenna, they're pretty standard looking.
Yep.
The band is 915, which is US band. Shouldn't have any issues with the cops coming after you. Okay, and
it's not only the ICE, now it's the FCC.
Yeah. So they have a port. That's the one that goes into the JPT port or JST, and it's, like I say, it's I2C or UART. It says it's a gravity port, so that's probably the DF Robots, whatever they, their connector type. But I think it's, I think just looking at it, it's probably 2 millimeter. So they have a light, a blue LED, which says RTK. They have a power LED, and they have a slide switch where you can switch it from UART to I2C. Okay, so, here's your two modules. You get two antennas. Probably going to have to use a little disc of aluminum. You got those other things. And that's, now, actually, let me share a screen here. So that's what you get in the box for $160. It is line of sight only, for sure. I can't tell you how well what the range is, but it's, LoRa is supposed to go at least a kilometer, I believe. Let's see, let's try to go to here.
Yeah, it depends on how many bytes you send and at what rate.
Yeah. Oh, that is one pertinent thing. The data rate on this is 1 hertz.
Okay.
1 hertz. Okay, so that's probably because of the radio, and no, it's probably not the GPS. In fact, I know it isn't the GPS. It's the radio. So that's one other thing that you have. But if you know where you are every second, that's still a reasonable thing. So anyway, that's that. And the real thing is, I wanted to get you to, if I can find it, I think it's, come on. Oh, well, wait a minute.
I forgot to call it the message rate, not the data rate.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you. Let me see. I'm going to have to go to that page, I think, myself. So is it sliding down now?
Nope.
No, it isn't sliding down. Is this one sliding down?
Yep. Yeah, now it is.
Okay. All right. So, whoops. So here's some of your base station type stuff. Just looking at it, other than the fact that it was 1. Okay, so here's the radio parameters that are set. And here's the output data rate. And like I said, it was 1 hertz. But I'm trying to find where they also have a really nice wiki page. Oh, it's up here. Let me see.
Yeah, actually, I use the 1 hertz rate. I mean, it's not like our rovers are going 60 miles an hour or anything. So,
well, I don't know. See, so that's now somewhere there's a. Okay. Oh, here it is. All right. So they have a pretty nice wiki. It goes through all of the stuff I've just showed you. Here is the NMEA data parsing. They also have an STK.
We're not seeing your wiki.
Huh?
We're not seeing your wiki.
Ooh, okay. Give me a second.
Switch over to it.
I have to go back over there and I don't know. This one, let me get. How do I stop? I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to present. And And I'm going to start with this and see if I can change this. Are you seeing a screen change at all?
Big white square. There we go.
All right, let me see.
Yes.
Did it change now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, now you're seeing the wiki page.
Looks like it. Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, they have the parsing. They also have the API. Okay, so here's apparently the stuff you can get. You can get the UTC, you can get the date, you can get the latitude, you get the longitude, you get the number of satellites used, you can get the altitude, you can get the SCP, and the HDOP, and quality, site ID, differential time. I'm not sure what this was, but okay, this one allows you to switch supposedly between 4G and LoRa. Okay.
Mm.
Okay, so if you were using a 4G module, which I considered because, and before this is all done and said and done, you know what a boat is. It's a hole in the water that you pour money into it. I got a kind of a sneaking suspicion that RTK is a hole that you pour money into also. So anyway, so if you get a 4G module, and then you probably want to mount it on your Raspberry 5, and that costs. So now you need a hat that'll hold a 4G module. So the hat's $45. The 4G model's another $45. So for $90, you can get that you can get 4G access, but then you have to buy the service, which is usually about $10 a month. So, it just keeps on keeping on. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to dip my toe into the LoRa version of it, because I figured, one, it would be simpler for a beginner, and two, it would be cheaper for most of what we want to do. Now, if I go out to Steve's and I find out it doesn't work, well, because the radio can't reach to the rover, well, that's going to obviously change how I approach it. But if I can set up the station somewhere that seems to work for everywhere. Ray, you got the most LoRa experience. When they say line of sight, are trees going to block it?
Yeah, line of sight is like clear line of sight, so no obstructions.
Okay.
I wasn't transmitting that much data, and I was doing it at the most reliable rate, and I didn't have any issues going. Oh, I don't know. It was not line of sight. I actually had the receiver in this bedroom that is my office.
Yeah.
And my wife was in her car driving around with the transmitter sitting on the passenger seat.
Mm-hmm.
And no issues receiving the data. Our property is like about 1,500 feet by 400 feet. And she went, pretty much to two extremes, and it seemed to work fine.
Yeah, well, that's what if I get that type of performance, I'm not saying this radio and this module will do that, but
Yeah.
if I were able to get that sort of performance, then it would probably be acceptable.
Yep.
At the 915 megahertz transmission frequency,
Yeah.
its ability to penetrate walls is pretty good. You're not going to get past a Faraday cage, of course, but
No.
To get through foliage and stuff like that, it's pretty good at penetrating it. And it'll go through multiple residential walls. And particularly if you're doing like a 9600 baud or something like that, which is all you need for RTC M3 corrections, especially at 1 hertz message rate, you're going to have no problems But going through an entire house, again, if the robot's going around the house and you're on one side of the house, and everything's low, I'm not so sure about that. But you can always put it up on a balloon.
Yeah.
It's true.
Well,
Streamlink fences might
that's
be
an
a
interesting idea.
Or a taller mast.
Yeah, but I guess my thought is that it has to be steady in one spot. If your RTK base station is wavering in the wind, that's probably not cool. But
Yeah.
see,
The antenna itself for your base station needs to be fixed, but the radio
oh, I got you.
aerial doesn't.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
you could get a extension cable. Okay, I have a 40 by 60, 14-foot high sidewall metal building,
Mhm.
and I went all around that, with the transmitter and having the receiver in here. It still worked fine. So that was the opposite side of a huge metal building, and it didn't seem to have any issues. So.
Yeah, but
Now, the
like I
metal building
say,
is not.
was that 915 hertz, megahertz?
Yeah,
Okay.
915 megahertz.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll see. I'll get it up there, and I'd hope to have it this week, but life got in the way. So
What's that quote from Jurassic Park? LoRa will find a way.
yeah. Anyway, so
Life, but
yeah, like I say, apparently, it looks like you could switch it over to 4G if I'm reading this right. I don't know if this is just a general API for multiple different boards or whether or not this is specific, but I would assume you could set it. Module AT transparent.
the
I'm not
receiver
sure.
doesn't care how it gets the RTCM data.
Yeah.
As long as you can shuffle it in at a regular rate.
All right. And so the problem that I'm concerned about is that when you look at the module, it's obviously you can't see it, but if you remember the module, the radio and the GPS or are both in the little boxes. The board, the RTK board is in there with the radio on it. So
Does it happen to say which module it's using in the box?
no, not I know what you're thinking. It is one of those, somewhere they talk about that. And I believe that I have actually purchased those boards to be put on a base station board that's like a Raspberry Pi 5 board. But I decided that for this price, it was just easier to just try it and see what was going. So, and then anyway, they give you, it looks like an Arduino code, basic Arduino code example. And then they give you a UART. So they give you I squared example and a UART example and and they give you a decoder ring for what the different parts of the message are. Okay, so tells you which hemisphere it's in and all the other settings. And then it gives you a Raspberry Pi user guide. So this is where you can hook it up to your Raspberry Pi. It looks like this. So it looks like they just have a sensor board on top, sensor hat on top of your Raspberry Pi, and you hook it in, and that's Bob's your ankle. They're using 400K bits in their I2C. And what are they using?
I wonder how they can produce that module for so little. I mean, all the other ones are 2 to 3 times the cost if you
Okay,
get a rover. And a
Okay,
base.
here it is. Here's what they are.
Oh, okay.
It's an L1, L5 module. The ones that you're thinking of, Ray, like the Z, F9Z, F9PZ, is an L1, L2 module. And I have seen that the L1, L5 modules are cheaper. I don't know why. And I know that it's interesting that they're shipping product that uses L5 because it's not like officially like finished, because the constellation isn't complete yet and won't be until 2027. So there might be times when performance may be reduced relative to an L1, L2 module because you don't have enough satellites at good orientations.
Kind of makes you wonder if the Russians, considering our relationship with the Russians now, if they're maybe degrading, the
Well, I'm sure they are. Yeah.
L5
of the US.
L5
What?
came out on the Chinese on the Baidu first, I think.
Oh, did it?
And they're ahead of the GPS constellation in deploying it.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll want to turn on the Chinese constellation for best coverage.
Mm-hmm.
But the F9Ps and such, what's the company name again? it's escaping me right now.
U-block.
U-block. So they're also now shipping all 3 frequencies in their latest products. So they do L2, L3,
Really?
L1, L2, and L5. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let me go back to this guy.
Not in the F9P, but in later things that SparkFun is now selling.
I saw schematics and now I've lost the schematics on this thing.
Okay.
Kareem, how do you have a phone on your robot platform that uses basically gives you the correction data?
Well,
right?
depending on whether I get Wi-Fi or not, if I'm going to be outside of a Wi-Fi zone, I'll use my phone as a hotspot.
Right.
And get the correction data that way.
Okay. So I guess that you could do that with this module, not have to use a base station.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, in theory, but that's why I wanted to look at the schematics, because it looks like they've wired the LoRa module into the corrections port of the receiver chip. So you would have to send the corrections, get the corrections off of your cell phone and then put them into LoRa somehow, I think, for this module.
I think that might be an extra UART that is directly wired. They often have multiple.
Oh.
I don't know about this particular one, but they often have multiple UARTs. So there might be a way to get it in over like USB.
Mm-hmm.
I have one of these that I haven't taken out of its box yet.
Yeah,
I bought it with the intention of hooking it up to the internet to get the correction data. One of the problems there is that most of the on RTK to go, most of the or fewer of the base stations that are published there actually have L5, and there's no benefit in sending it L2. It's just not sensitive to it.
What? Say that again, Kareem?
So there are a few in RTK to go, the domestic network here. Yeah. There are just because of the rollout history, far fewer of the base stations have L5 RTCM signals.
Yes, that's right.
Mhm.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
And
you
that
really
makes-
are probably better off going with your own base station
Right.
for the near term.
Mhm. Yeah, so the real problem is, and I'm looking at the schematic now, you know, you might, well, you'd have to look at it in detail. You'd figure out, you know, what's the best way for you to, if you wanted to hook a phone to it, how you would go about it. But like I say, mainly, you know, I still want to prefer to try an approach that's not RTK based, because my ultimate goal for my Robo Columbus is to run it out in Seattle on the Robo Magellan someday. So they don't allow it. So it's something that I would want to be able to have one that could work with a standard, you know, GPS. But, you know, even the standard GPSs are now getting down to a meter. So that's pretty good. We'll see, you know, like I say, it was an impulse buy, but I think it's not a bad, doesn't look like a bad choice,
Oh, looks great.
you know, so I mean, we'll just see how it goes. And I can tell you probably, you know, this kind of, I've been fighting getting the time to do some machining to change the wheels on my robot. So this is a self-made problem since my robot had 4 wheels to start with. But now I'm trying to upgrade the wheels. So I'll show you that. If you remember, let me stop sharing. If you remember from one of the show and tells or anything, you remember that I had this modified Vex wheel that I was using. Okay. So what I'm doing is trying to go to this wheel. Okay. So this is the new wheel. And to do that,
This is your wheel. This is your wheel on drugs. No.
Pretty deep. So what that meant was couldn't use the shaft on this one. It's too short. So I have to machine new shafts to get to this guy.
Mm.
Well, when I put these wheels on, I learned a lot of things I didn't want to do anymore. Like, for example, if you try to put a skate wheel bearing on an 8mm shaft, you know, yeah, you can press it on there, but it's not a fun thing to do. And moving it a little bit is a pain in the butt, especially after you have 2 or 3 pulleys also on the wheel. So what I'm had to do, it turns out that I only have to take off, you know, like a mil to get it where the bearing is a nice hard friction fit, but you can move it. It's only about a mil. Well, it's actually pretty hard on, you know, crap lathes to remove just the mil, because
Sandpaper.
Or you've moved, you know, you've taken off 2 mils or something like that. So you have
Sandpaper is your friend. Yeah.
Or at least that's how Doug's doing it with it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, so I have to do this on the whole shaft, and then I can put it in my mill and machine my flats. But, you know, the whole thing is not fun. So it's been kind of being like, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow type of thing. But its time has come. Now, I hold this and I'm squeezing on the sides, and it feels pretty good. My biggest scare is, I get all the shafts made, put it all back together, and then the robot's so heavy that it just crushes it, but I've tried to keep the weight on this robot base pretty light. So I'm hopeful.
So what's the diameter of the new wheel?
Anyway, that's what's been hanging at my robot for the last couple of weeks. So I got to get that taken care of.
So what's the diameter?
So I think I've shown you all there is to show you on this. I even showed you the instruction sheet. So which is totally worthless. But it looks like I said, it's $100 for $160. It doesn't look like a bad deal. I don't know. That's all I have to say about it.
Well,
you get, and just like most Chinese companies, you get a screwdriver.
hey,
So, I don't think they think of it.
well, I found the dust covers for those sensors.
That's it.
I found dust covers.
Yeah, and this is the one thing that's going to frustrate me because these are so nice on this one. Okay, I'll have to make this another cable up. They have it so nicely labeled, and since I made my own PCB, I used 2.54 JST connectors everywhere. So this won't work. Anyway, I have to figure out how to handle it. I might have an I2C extra port that I got to this. We'll see.
Well, I found the dust covers. It looks like you have to pay in English pounds. Yeah, so there's two different types of dust covers. One is a clear glass one, and another one is a glass cover that's more isolated for more money. So like this one is it's a little more complicated design, but I need to go look at these dust covers to decide if they will fit on my boards, because it looks like they're designed to have a flat surface.
Yeah, around the sensor.
Around the sensor, and the Polulu board
may have components that interfere.
Stuff really close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those probably won't work.
Maybe float it over the sensor a little bit,
Well, then it doesn't. It's too far away, and it reflects and everything. And
it might.
Yeah. Hey, Mike,
really close.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah. Another thing that you might consider. I do not think this is something you want to try super gluing on. Okay, because that will probably screw it up. What you probably need to do, you might look also for lens glue. I don't know what they call it, but lens glue. It's glue that's specifically made for optics.
Yeah, otherwise you get it's almost like a smoke or a cloudiness.
Yeah, or even worse, it kind of runs in there and screws it all up. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just, there might be other solutions, but I'm just warn you, probably don't just super glue it.
Oh, yeah. My holder I have has an opening about the size of the board here. And I have it so that the top of the sensor is flush with my holder.
Gotcha. That's a good idea.
Just put a sheet of glass over the whole thing. and have it
Mm-hmm.
and have it like a millimeter or so from the as close as I can to the part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like a good. You could even, yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Or you
But
could
they-
even modify it so that the glass is. But okay, yeah, but that's a good idea. I see you're going to have a 3D case basically
Right,
on
right.
this. Yeah.
But the top will be open, but it'll be but the surface of the case will be flush with the what do you call it? With
Sensor
this
front.
sensor device, which is the
Mhm.
tallest part on the board.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But the thing is if you look at this sensor here, the expensive one has this. If you can see right in the center, I don't know if you can see my cursor?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have like something to isolate the transmitter from the receiver. And
Yeah.
they do that to keep it from reflecting. Because the
Mhm.
problem is if you just put a sheet of glass over it, real close even, you'll get some reflection from this side to that side
Mhm,
because of the
mhm.
glass on there.
Hmm.
And then if you look at these different sensor types, they have two different sensors. One is a 450 one is for 750. This one here doesn't have that, so it's less expensive. It's a much simpler
Mhm,
design.
mhm.
So I'm going, I wonder.
Yeah. Well, do they have one for the L8?
Yeah, this is for the L8. Yeah,
Oh, okay, good.
because it's the DL53 L8 glass cover,
Without light blocker.
right?
Yep.
And the other one has
the light blocker.
it has that little thing in between them, which is the light
Yeah.
blocker from transmitter to receiver.
Yeah, but
You
they
can sort
both must work. You know what I'm trying to say? They both must work.
Well, they say this one has more
Oh, wait a
crosstalk.
minute. Hey, click on that
The center one?
second picture. Yeah, click on. Can you click? If you get off of it, move your mouse off of it. It looks like the light blocker is actually proud. Otherwise, the size that's touching the sensor is flat. This is just a little bar that sticks up.
Yeah, but if you look at the drawing with a
I
little
think
more
it goes
detail,
both ways.
yeah, if you look at it, that's why it costs so much more, I believe. Is if you look at this drawing, you can see it's much more complicated. There's two individual pieces of glass separated by a blocker, a light blocker.
Do they give you any reason why you would want to use the light blocker? Maybe it gives you
Oh.
higher ambient rejection.
Well, they say that the problem with lenses like this is the transmitter sends out a signal, and it'll hit the glass and reflect back to the receiver
Right.
and give you a crosstalk. With this light blocker, that doesn't happen because it's two separate components, two separate wells that the lenses are in. It's not one lens covering both transmitter and receivers. The transmitter lens separated optically from the receiver lens, and so they don't crosstalk to each other.
Yeah, but obviously this one stands further away from the sensor than the other one.
It looks like it's the same.
Where is the
It
sensor?
looks like
now?
it may be deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sensor is here, would fit in here, and then this is the goes right to the center of the sensor. So if you look at the Polulu board,
Yep.
you can sort of see that the center has a place to well, you want to have something blocking the light from the transmitter to the receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I put my sheet out of plexiglass on there, it's going to have more crosstalk, and supposedly if it's not too much, you can tune it out. But exciting, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it didn't look like they were too expensive. One was $3.50. Wait a minute. One was 750 euros.
Pounds. Oh, was that euros? Yeah. Okay, that was euros. Okay, yeah.
And the other one was what, about 4 euros?
Yeah, 4.5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4.5.
It's from
yeah.
England. It's probably pounds, though, right there.
Yeah. What about shipping? Do they give you any?
No, I didn't go that far. And now, and also all the postal services are blocked.
Oh, yes. Yeah. My daughter, we think of this as impacting our hobby. Okay.
Right.
But you don't realize that it's impacting everybody's hobbies.
Yeah.
Like, for example, my daughter was a member of a sticker club from somebody in, I think, Switzerland or something like that. And so every month she would get a couple of sticker sheets. And she, they just, anybody from the United States, they got kind of like kicked off the list. They're not shipping it to them anymore because of the complications. And that really hurts their business because most of their sales were in the United States. So, they're hurting really bad, but I guess, nobody wants to pay $650 handling fee for a sticker sheet,
Yeah.
So there's this is impacting a lot of people, not just us roboticists who are craving the cheap stuff. I mean, the Chinese
and small
innovation.
small businesses, so I'm sure have issues.
Yeah, they said even the impact on tourism has been significant. There's a lot less people coming from Europe to the United States to vacation. So
yeah, well, for what I don't know I was in Amarillo during July, and I happened to go to the Big Texan, and there were a bunch of tourists down there doing the 72-ounce challenge. So, I mean, I don't know what their normal rate is, but there were people down there doing it from different countries. So, yeah.
It's not just the steak they have to eat, though, right? It's like several other things, isn't it?
Well, they have to eat a baked potato, a roll, and maybe another side. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I will.
Potatoes could be huge.
Yeah. For you guys like you, Pat, the Big Texan is a famous. Did you ever see the Great Outdoors movie?
Yep.
With John Candy. Yeah, you remember the scene where he goes into the restaurant and they feed him this humongous steak. Okay, that originates from the Big Texan in Amarillo. It's also was the inspiration for the Simpsons meat poisoning episode, where they go in, and that's the one where Mr. Burns says, well, I want that cow, and the guy shoots it, and no, that cow, and he shoots that one. I don't know if you anyway, the previous, so Homer's up on the stage eating a steak, this humongous steak. It looks like they took a chainsaw and cut out a switch just right across the cow. Anyway, so he's eating it against the previous champion. And, he finally finishes and he looks over at the champion, and he's died. He's died on the stage from meat poisoning, So anyway, it's, if you ever get to see The Simpsons, that's also inspired by, but in reality, if you go in there, you can get an 8-ounce steak, very nice, very good, very tasty. That other stuff, it's real glitzy. It is touristy, but they do have good food, So anyway, it's kind of interesting.
The 72-ounce steak is free, though, isn't it?
Huh?
Is it
if
free?
If you eat it in 30 minutes, I believe it's free. It's 72 ounces. And I mean, it's a honking big steak.
I don't know.
72 ounces of beer, 30 minutes is doable. 72 ounces of steak.
Well, okay, now I'm going to blow your mind. This also attracts the professional food eaters, for TikTok and all that crap. You know what the world record is? Take a guess. 72-ounce steak, baked potato, and everything. What would
15
you-
minutes.
4.
Whoa. What?
Yeah, I know. I don't. To be quite honest, it would take me that long to cut the damn thing up. You know what I mean?
Probably, yeah.
I don't even. I don't. I mean, they
Can
must
you use a
just.
blender?
I don't.
Yeah, they
I
drink
don't know
it.
what. I don't know what they do. But anyway, that's the record. And apparently, the person is a woman, and she beat the guy previous one, which was like in the 5.5.
The guy that died of meat poisoning?
Probably.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and it's funny that sometimes the skinnier people are the ones that can actually do it. Like if you're a little on the fatter side, it seems like you're, I don't know, just not prone to doing it as well.
I don't know. These are the guys that go up to the New York Nathan hot dog contest and eat 100 hot dogs in 5 minutes or something like that. I don't know. So anyway, that's what
I don't know,
big
Doug.
time-
This feels like a long shot for Robot Power Lunch.
Yeah, I think so. It's a little far. It's a little far.
Do we have any non-food related robotic?
Yeah. I want to say it's also above. It's also above whatever the upper limit he put on it. So, anyway, so I feel like I'm on the cusp of getting some things done. So we'll see how it goes.
What's the diameter of your new wheels? Are they like 10-inch or 12-inch or?
No.
8-inch?
They're meant to fit a Trexus model.
Like a 1/5 scale?
I think they're a little bigger than 6 inches. I mean, I'm not sure. I'd have to. I just know they're bigger than these. You know, I mean, you can really see the difference next to them.
Oh yeah.
So I was more worried. These actually work pretty good. I was more worried about.
They're about that size? Or?
Hard to say.
I don't know. How big is that? Can you, well, this sounds like a challenge. Mike, measure your wheel.
Wheel. Okay. In inches? Okay, it's 7 inches. Yep, 7 inches diameter.
Okay.
So 7 inches diameter.
Okay. And these are 6 1/4.
Oh, okay.
So yours are still bigger, Mike.
All right.
But these, when you start buying RC wheels, big RC wheels, they're expensive. It's like if you want a 4-inch wheel, $10 maybe. But when you want a 6-inch wheel, they can get up pretty quick. So I found these, they were reasonable. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on them. But that's what I wanted. I wanted something more like Scott's,
Something.
This is another 1/2 inch. This will give me because those other wheels were 5. So this gives me another 1/2 inch clearance, hopefully. And they're also a lot wider. These were probably 1 inch.
Yeah. And a little spongier too, I guess.
Yeah, should have a little bit of shock absorber, like I say. We'll see. They can break. Those big RC wheels can break so easily. You can spin them in the hubs if the glue breaks loose, and they can hit something and just tear all up. Especially if you're going real fast, Mike. Mine won't be going real fast.
Yeah, mine won't either. But
yeah,
2 meters per second max. Probably not that fast.
2 meters per second is pretty fast.
Yeah.
That's anyway. That's that.
Anyone
So
else?
you're making a completely new hub for the bigger wheels then, Doug, or?
No, I think I showed this. It turns out that you can get, so I'm using 8mm shafts.
Yeah.
All right, which, by the way, RC cars don't use 8mm shafts.
Right.
So but I found, and it is a little klutzy. Give me a second, I'll show you.
Yeah. While he's doing that, I can sort of show my sensor array on the front.
Nice.
And then the wiring is, oops, the camera fell.
Okay. So you can buy let's see how we do this. It's in here like this. A little 8mm to hex. Okay. Well, and that would work for a 1/10 size car in the wheels, but you can't get 6-inch wheels for 1/10 because they use a bigger hex on the end. Well, turns out you can get a little hex fitter that can go on the end of it. So, and they're held together by a screw that goes through the wheel, and the wheel sits on this. Yeah, the wheel sits on this little shoulder here. Okay, and like I say, this is on a 8mm shaft, and it's got a wheel that it's got a pulley that ties the two wheels together, if you remember the design, and then it has a pulley that drives the rear motor. It's only a 2-motor robot. So anyway, that's where we're going, and so my first one, I got it done, and I just cut the shafts and no machining at all. Where I needed a flat to go for the pulleys, the pulleys like this type of pulley. And I just, I just make the flat with a file. Well, when you pull the shaft out and look at it, it looks like beavers ate on it. So, I got a little upset about that. So, the new ones, I'm actually machining them on. I've mounted them on. I created a little squeeze block so that the shaft would be flat. I put it in the vise down at the bottom. So when I tighten it up, they're held by actually 3D printed squeeze blocks, and then I can just and all of the different places I have to make a flat, and it works pretty good. So that's what I'm doing. It's not hard, it's just, I just hate spinning the thing and trying to move off 1 mil of material, and that's probably my biggest. The machining is actually fun. You get it and you mount it and you actually watch it go back and cutting, as long as you don't break a milling, end mill. If you don't do something stupid, you can cut those all day. But getting that, so because you want the bearing to slide on the you want to try to, I can just barely get it on, but it's not, without some force, I can't move it down, but I don't need a press to move it down. I mean.
Oh, I don't know if you heard, CDC Products in Richardson.
Yeah.
They've gone out of business.
Whoa. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a shell mill that I was looking at. It fits the collet set that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was a little too pricey. I think it was right around $100. And, you know, I thought, I'll come back. So I came back in a couple of years. It was still on the shelf, still the same price.
Yeah.
So now I don't know if somebody bought it or not. You know, it's like,
Is it closed? So it's closed for sure. You sure it's not his on vacation?
No, he said he was in business for 35 years and it was time to retire. And he might still have some stuff out there for sale, you know, to try to clear his shop out. But
yeah,
it's been a while. I got an email probably a month ago.
I don't, you know, that's the sort of place that I would go, like I said, about once every month or every 6 weeks. And
yeah,
I go in there and end up, no matter what had happened, I always end up walking out with something. I don't know what it would be, but you know, I always end up with something. So I had to limit it because he only took cash. So,
yeah,
you know, so that's how this is again, Pat, this was a surplus store that's been in Richardson, like you said, 35 years.
yeah.
And I think what he started was some aviation company closed up and he bought all their stock. So he had all sorts, I mean, weird stuff, you know, machining stuff, raw material, screws and bolts that are pretty hard to source. He all had them all, and he sold them at very reasonable prices. Anyway, hate to see that guy go.
It's like Tanner's.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
getting too tough.
Yeah.
You guys are lucky. We have nothing like that up here at
Yeah.
all.
Well, apparently we don't either.
Yeah, we don't either now.
We're lucky.
Yeah.
You were lucky, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Paul,
Yeah.
can you shut down the meeting at the end?
Yep.
I'm going to take off. It's getting late here tonight.
Yeah.
See you, Pat.
See you guys next week.
See you, Pat. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go too. Yeah, gotta build my robot. Anyway, we'll see you guys. What are we gonna do for the monthly meeting, just for curiosity?
So I thought I'd do a talk on Git and GitHub. Zero to
Okay.
hero in an hour.
Okay, sounds good. Are you gonna send me a couple of lines so I can shoot it up on the web?
Yeah,
Okay, if you'll do that, I'll get a post made.
I got like
Every-
2.5 weeks to put it together.
Well, yeah, but remember,
Yeah.
20 to the 27th, because I
Yeah.
won't be there because I'm going to be in Santa Fe. So,
Ah.
so
Hey,
need to.
Kareem, I wanted to ask you if you wanted to. There were some things that weren't working for your Prezzo last month. I wanted to ask you if you wanted to do a segment at the front of the talk, maybe to show off all of the things working. I know, up to you.
That sounds like a challenge to the demo gods. I'm gonna
Think about it.
engage their wrath.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I can probably do that. What's the date again?
27th.
Their wrath or their wrath?
It's
I think both.
It's both ways.
Both ways.
Depends on how classical you're trying to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going deep for the the deep dark old time.
No, I was thinking this was a full glove slap.
That was a really awesome talk you did, Kareem.
Oh yeah, we enjoyed it.
thanks.
I mean, that was just like hit it out of the park for me.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. When it described Doug standing up and wearing khakis and a white T-shirt, I was like, wow. That
Wish I could claim credit for that. That was really the AIs doing all the work there.
Well,
you know,
yeah, but
I was just doing the plumbing.
You made it
and
work.
figuring out how to course it a bit. But,
And then in the previous RBNV, you'd shown it moving the camera on voice command, and that was.
Yeah, I'll be able to show the whole integrated thing.
Okay.
We would plan on like maybe a half hour at the start, if or at the end, whatever seems like whenever stuff's working. And
I would probably want to go at the beginning, since I may have to leave early for it's robotics season for the high schools now, and so
Yeah.
I've got to get back on Saturdays.
Yeah, I think that'd be an awesome sort of like put a bow tie on it, tie the bow or whatever the expression is.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good night.
Sounds like a plan. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Mm.